Peace Gong, Connecting Children for a Non-Violent Planet. February 2015, Volume 10. This children's newspaper is published as a part of the Media and Information Literacy Initiative of the Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore Foundation, Birds, Gokak, and the South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children. The talking paper is published in association with Arushi, Bhopal, and narrated by Kanupriya Gupta. Editorial. A new year brings fresh hope. Let's welcome year 2015 with renewed energy and hope that something more substantial will be done for safety and security of children across the world. May this new year bring new and exciting opportunities for all of us to contribute to global peace and help us realize not only our rights enshrined in many national and international instruments, but also our responsibilities as good citizenship dictates. Looking back, the previous year was quite horrifying to many of us. Continued violence against children in different parts of the world kept reminding us that we are not safe. Not just in India and South Asia, but across the world, we came across ghastly stories of how innocent children fell victim to lust, hatred, stereotype prejudices, enmity, and revenge. Children, after all, have always been soft targets in all kinds of conflicts and divisions. But if the dusk was dark and frightening, a brighter landscape is visible because of enlightened ideas. So, we enter 2015. Our hopes are fresh, and we, the children of the world, are highly excited and confident that we can all work together to turn the whole world towards enlightenment. This year is going to be crucial for all of us, especially the children. The Millennium Development Goals will make way for the Substantial Development Goals. This can determine how the world will shape in the next 15 years. All countries who converged at the Rio Plus 20 summit had agreed that sustainable development must be inclusive and people-centered, benefiting and involving all people, including youth and children. The importance of active participation of young people in the decision-making processes was also stressed in this summit. Boosting enormous hope, this new development makes all of us commit, in partnership with the others, to work towards carving out a society which is just and equal for all. We hope that this year will usher in a new chapter that involves children in all aspects of the functioning of our democracy, and that our voices will be heard with utmost sincerity and seriousness. We are not pawns and puppets of anyone, just as the first rays of sun bring a new prospect every day. Similarly, we hope that all our effort and endeavor shall be recognized and promoted. Therefore, the children of this world have to strive hard together for the realization of global peace and strengthening of our democracy. And to do that, we, the children, must learn and understand the functioning of our democracy and our role in it. It is relevant to recall what Mahatma Gandhi said. The true democrat is he who with purely non-violent means defends his liberty, and therefore his country's and ultimately that of the whole of mankind. By Kanupriya Gupta, Class 10th, Carmel Convent School, BHL, Bhopal. Making Children Nation Builders. A debate on how children can contribute to democratic governance and make the political process take up issues of concerns to children. Kavya Makhija of class 9th, Tagore International School, New Delhi, talked to some children and teachers to find out what they have to say on this. We often say children are the future nation builders. To become good nation builders, the children have to be given the right education, and that includes education on democratic participation by the young. That's how children can contribute to strengthen the democratic processes. To understand this process, every citizen of the country has equal rights, and so do children, says Mahima Trihan of class 11 studying in Tagore International School, east of Kailash, New Delhi. The participation of young children in democracy, if provided, can be taken as milestone. We know that children are the future of mankind. So, our participation in the democratic process can be beneficial, she acknowledged. Mahima has chartered some pointers so that children become storehouses of positive energy so they can be a part to any awareness program and it will take the campaign to a greater height. Children observe things very minutely, so they should be able to freely raise questions on the ongoing processes. Children are not biased, so they give or share without asking anything in return. They are good patriots, so they desire to work for the country wholeheartedly. Children participating can bring unity and equality in democracy. They are goal oriented, so they will bring seriousness to any movement. Don't lower the voting age. But Mahima's classmate Manya Malkotia has a different perception. She feels that involvement in the democratic processes before attaining a certain age and substantial knowledge will hinder in the decision making altogether, particularly the electoral process. Pointed out that India's census clearly shows that the proportion of young adults in India is more than that of adults, and this will continue. She asks, should we change the voting age by 2 years, which is 18 years now? Usually, children with less knowledge about the current governing scenario will tend to have no particular stand on the political parties. If we give them the right to vote, they will certainly not use it to the fullest. Their vote or decision would be guided by an influential adult. So, actually, we are giving that adult the power of two votes, Manya points out. Her argument is by lowering the voting age to 16, we are clearly giving the adults power of two votes, which is against the constitutional ethics, isn't it? It is better to follow the already given path which comes to crucial decisions like democratic processes, feels Manya. Dealing with problems. Vishali Bidhuri takes the debate further by countering Manya and supporting classmate Mahima, saying youth participation leads to better decisions and outcomes. Many of the profound difficulties faced by young people around the globe, illiteracy, poverty, HIV/AIDS, substance abuse, discrimination, and forced engagement in armed conflict are subjects of widespread concern at the national and international levels, says Vaishali. Her argument is that globally, young people now have to deal with increased unemployment and insecurity at work, greater family instability, and reductions in social welfare programs. Thus, it is important for young adults to take part in the crucial process of decision making, says Vaishali. Danger signal. Agreeing that only the young have the ability to make a change that can revolutionize the nation, classmate Saif Nizam puts a red flag on the quality of education on democratic participation that the young and teenagers are getting in today's world. This, he strongly feels, is actually discouraging us from contributing to the democratic processes in the country. By nature, children are patriotic, says Seth, and do not want to leave the country helpless and unsupported, which is not good for a country like India at all. So, what is the way forward? By making the laws of children's rights more efficient. The young are the element X of Indian politics, points out Seth. So it is important to involve the children who have a mindset which is equal to everyone and is unbiased towards others. If we apply this ability of children to the Indian politics, we can surely achieve a better political condition in the country, feels Seth. Biases, action points, and inclusiveness. The debate progresses from students to teachers. On politics, says Richa Bharadwaj, who teaches English in Tagore International School, east of Kailash, New Delhi. Most of the opinions our youth and children form are reinforced by media or are based on biased viewpoints of people around them. To change this, feels Richa, the very first thing which India or any democratic country for that matter needs is to get rid of its tendency to tolerate because that is where corruption, poverty, unemployment, etc. stem from. Pointing out that the youth and even the children need to be conscious about such things, the English teacher says, it is indeed sad that even after being a part of a democratic country, many people, especially children and the rural population, tend to be unaware about their rights and duties. A curriculum which focuses on the economic, social, and political concerns of any democratic country would go a long way in ensuring maximum child participation and making children aware about things happening around them, says Richa. Reiterating that children are the inheritors of the democratic tradition and their contribution starts early, political science teacher Maya Ray of the same school lists the following action points. Young students should be taught about the days celebrated as national events. For example, the Republic Day, Independence Day, and Gandhi Jayanti could be celebrated in drawing and coloring, poems, and songs. This way, the students are bound to develop love and patriotic feeling for their country. This love will translate into commitment towards the nation as they grow older. To make them learn about the values of democracy, they must be told again and again about the importance of democratic participation. Citizenship must be taught to young students in a way that it becomes engraved into the psyche of the students as they grow older. Decision and debate must become set in their lives. Their right to expression, freedom of speech, and freedom to protest must be encouraged so that they become good citizens. The cornerstone of democracy is popular participation. If this is encouraged among the young, it would lead to shaping of a vibrant and responsive democracy. Students must be given the right to question their teachers and the right to share their own opinion with their classmates. This will allow them to demand a responsive and accountable government. They must be made aware of their rights and duties so that they can effectively express their expectations from the government. Participation and awareness alone is the key to solve so many patterns that is our world. Nandini Sharma of Times Internet says, by including education in a child's life, we shape them into responsible and conscientious citizens, which is the base for democracy. Similarly, when we include educated children in the process of democracy, we are adding a perspective on how to shape the future of our country. The freedom, the rights, the participation in social development, and the role one plays in a democracy, everything can be zeroed down on how included a person feels in the democracy, which is why including young people in democratic processes can ensure that they are well aware and bright enough to tackle the challenges that lie ahead, says Nandini. A journey to the tribal roots in the land of Birsa Munda. Ulihatu in Khunti district, the Janamsthali, birthplace of the great tribal freedom fighter Birsa Munda, who is revered in Jharkhand as Dharti Aba and Birsa Bhagwan. Excitement ran high amongst the select group of students of Guru Nanak School, Ranchi. February 10 was the red letter day for the pilgrimage. Boarding a bolero, the students reached Khundi Sadar in no time. From here on, everyone was told to observe things minutely. The road to Ulihatu was in good condition, though single track. The vehicle stopped in front of gate. Above it was a board proclaiming Bhagwan Birsa Munda Janmsthali. A person from the Bharat Sevashram Sangh was waiting to guide the students. Finding the main door locked, the guide asked for the keys, and soon a young lady came with the keys. Johar, the students greeted. Johar, she answered, smiling, as the students introduced themselves. Now it was the lady's turn. Savitri Munda, she said. Do you know who she is? Asked our teacher. Everyone became very excited to learn she was the great-granddaughter of Birsa Munda. The students took off their shoes before entering the house. Birsa Bhagwan stayed in a hut, but no hut can last 100 years. Later, a hut-shaped cottage was designed and built, the students were told. The cottage had a single room leading to an open veranda. Adjacent to the main door was a small podium, on which stood a small bust of Birsa Bhagwan. The students with their teacher folded their hands in prayer, lit a candle, garlanded the bust, and showered flower petals. Pray that you become an achiever and successful in whatever you do, the students were told. Making friends in ashram school. From there, the group went to Pranavanand Vidya Mandir, where the staff and students were eagerly waiting. Then the school principal asked the visitors to take a seat. The ashram students, both boys and girls, came and sang a welcome song in Santhali, an ancient tribal language. Then a girl holding a metal pot containing water and a bunch of mango leaves on top came forward to sprinkle water on the visiting group. This is a traditionally auspicious way to greet visitors. Group activity wallpaper. The teachers, mentors, and youth volunteers of the area initiated a discussion on different aspects of violence against children. The Peace Gong coordinator, Mr. Sujay Sarkar, talked about how using the modern means of communications and the indigenous communication methods could be used in villages to create awareness on violence against children. Then followed a group activity where Ms. Rashmi from Ma Foundation asked the students to form groups of three and sit in a circle. Each group got a chart paper, color crayons, and a pen. After that, she asked them to make wallpapers of 5 topics. The topics given by the visiting teacher were: A. What do you understand by child labor? B. What do you understand by child marriage? C. Environmental degradation. D. How is education a life-building measure? E. Birsa Munda and inspiration. Though just few kilometers away from Ranchi, the ashram school was completely different from the Ranchi school. There was no internet and no TV. The children had very little exposure to the outer world. Seeing the children's bewilderment, Mr. Sujay Sarkar asked them to draw or write whatever they could understand about the topic. This increased their confidence. He also asked the ashram school teachers to explain the topics and what is wallpaper in the local Mundari dialect which these people speak, as the place is inhabited by the Munda tribe. They were also asked to write about themselves and the problems they faced in coming to school and their studies. The time allotted was 1 hour. Once the time was over, they were asked to sit in their respective places. Hidden talent. Some of the wallpapers did pick up the themes that had been given. A few showed environmental degradation and some showed child labor. Most of the wallpapers showed nature, plants, animals, birds, etc. This was because they stayed in a place which had so much natural beauty and very little exposure to the outer world. Best thing to see was the finishing. The shades and coloring was really appreciable. This showed that these children really had talent, and what they needed was assistance and guidance. 3 groups were declared winners and given prizes. Despite their poverty, the children were very happy and content with what they got. The school authority had arranged lunch for us: dal bhat and aloo chokha, boiled potato mashed with salt, mustard oil and onion pieces. The children had a gift for us before we left, a papaya from their school tree. That token of love showed their simplicity, love and affection, which left us all overwhelmed. We really hope that in the coming days, these children from the remote village of Jharkhand would spread the message of the Peace Gong amongst their peers and actively participate in our effort as any other team across India. Roshan Kumar, Class 10, Guru Nanak School. Happiness and Child Rights. Mehak Manzoor, Class 10, Umar Memorial School, Avantipura. Happiness may have different meanings for different people, but we can all agree that it means working to end conflict, poverty, and other unfortunate conditions in which so many of our fellow human beings live, rightly pointed out the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Ban Ki-moon. March 20 is celebrated every year as the International Day of Happiness, and as a run up to it, the Peace Gong Kashmir team explored the link between happiness and child rights. Commemorating this day in 2014, the UN Secretary General said, happiness is neither a frivolity nor a luxury. It is a deep-seated yearning shared by all members of the human family. It should be denied to none and available to all. Many of the children to whom the Peace Gong team spoke felt that being rich was not an important condition to be happy. They felt when there is lack of trust, when they are bullied in either schools or neighborhoods, or are not treated with dignity and fairly, they feel unhappy. Students felt that if they are given opportunity to express themselves or contribute in their own small way to different things, it makes them happy. Also, giving them a say in their own lives makes them happy. On the other hand, if they are not heard or taken seriously, they feel deprived and unhappy. All the 15 students to whom the Peace Gong team spoke felt the rights of the child were linked to their happiness. Some said excessive competition to perform well in exams made them unhappy. Carrying heavy school bags and having no time to do creative things, too, were important reasons of depression in some children. An important issue was news of violent incidents against children which made them feel sad. And this was a major reason of them being afraid of the world around. Munisa Latif, a class 12 student, said that news of children being killed or exploited made them feel that the world was unfriendly to them. Violence against children in many parts of the world was a significant reason of many children having anxiety and unhappy, she said. She also talked about the quality of life as an important point to make children happy. When there are deprivations around and you see your family struggles, how can you be happy? She questioned. Another student, Basit, felt that too much scolding, either in school or at home, disturbed the children and made them unhappy. By making children comfortable and addressing their concerns sincerely, schools and parents can make children happy, he said. Basit felt that if parents and teachers have any issue between them, they should discuss or argue in privacy. A child has a sensitive and innocent heart which reacts very immediately in such situations. All the children felt that emotional exploitation has no remedy. It creates anguish in the hearts of those children. They become angry with the passage of time. Such children always carry the darkest future with them and can never be happy. Reality check. Child marriage, widows, and little education. Conducted by children volunteers of Vikalp, Jodhpur. Kutch Basti in Mandor area is just 4 kilometers from Jodhpur city in Rajasthan. But a reality check conducted by the children volunteers of Vikalp, a voluntary organization working to prevent child marriages, made the Basti seem to be locked away in another era. The 3-day workshop, मेरी खुशी, मेरी शादी अभी नहीं, बाल विवाह कभी नहीं, which means my happiness, my marriage not now, child marriage never, was to train the children volunteers of Vikalp. This exercise was a part of the Peace Gong Media and Information Literacy Training Program, November 8th to 9th, 2014. Conducted Professor T.K. Thomas, Chairperson, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore Foundation. What came out after the reality check was quite bizarre. There were 29 young women in the Basti, all of them illiterate, and they had been married off when they were minor. The age difference between them and their husbands was more than 15 years on an average. Shockingly, 17 of these 29 women are widows today. Their husbands, like most of the men of the area, worked in stone quarries and were addicted to alcohol and drugs. Their ultimately death was due to tuberculosis TB. The surviving men are also suffering from TB and are addicts, unable to do any work. So, the women, widows and wives, look after their family by rearing chickens. Some also work in the stone quarries, hammering away to make stone chests from the quarried stone. The second part of the findings of the families of these 29 women are equally startling. There are 31 boys and 32 girls in these 29 families. 24 boys and 14 girls, much below the legal marriageable age of 21 for boys and 18 for girls respectively, have been married off. Only 16 boys and 6 girls of the remaining children go to school. In all, 77 people were interviewed who have 146 children. From these 146 children, 20 girls and 26 boys, total 46, have been married off as minors. Only 20 girls and 45 boys, total 65, of the 146 children go to school. Of the 60 married women interviewed, 17 are widows. All the women interviewed blame their parents for not sending them to school and for getting them married so early. Reporters team: Saroj Jat, class 12, village Bhavi; Pramila Chaudhary, class 12, village Bachkala; Nirma Bhandari, class 12, village Bachkala; Shanti Tanka, class 11, village Bachkala; Manisha Kanwar, class 11, Bachkala; Lakshmi Tank, class 10th, village Bachkala; Pooja Duktava, class 9th, village Jaliwadi. A case study in a vicious cycle. Ganga Devi is 50 years old. When she was minor, her parents got her married to a man 15 years her senior. She was illiterate and her husband used to beat her mercilessly. He worked in the hazardous stone cutting industry. He was also addicted to alcohol and drugs and suffered from tuberculosis. When he died, quite young of TB, Ganga Devi was left to fend for the family. She eked out a living by doing odd jobs, but could not send her three children to school. She got her 14-year-old daughter married to a grown up man. Both her teenage sons, too, are working in the stone cutting industry. Ganga Devi burst out crying while speaking and lamented that had she been sent to school, her life would not have been so miserable. Shobha Chaudhary and Sanju Chaudhary will Vikalp volunteers, class 12 students, Ganamagra, district Jodhpur. A key reality check. Child labor. Dreams? How can I have dreams? I don't have the right to dream. I will have to spend my life living on roads and working in dhabas. A 13-year-old working in a roadside dhaba. Interviewed by the Peace Gong Aligarh Bureau team, Aisha Ehsan, Zaman Ghori, and Soma Afreen. There can be no dreams for girls like Farzana, name changed. She is forced to accept her destiny, that she can never get what she wants. She doesn't recall where she came from, so she lives alongside the roads and wherever she can find shelter. Farzana was one of the many children the Peace Gong Aligarh Bureau team interviewed as a part of a reality check on child labor in Aligarh. The problem of child labor is not just in Aligarh but in the entire country. The number of working children age group 5 to 14 years is 43.53 lakh as per the 2011 census, while the previous census of 2001 recorded there were 1.26 crore working children, age group 5 to 14, amongst the 25.2 crore children in India. The very fact that children are being made to work violates our Constitution's fundamental right to education, right to childhood, and equal opportunity to participate as equal citizens of the country. During our reality check, the team found only one of the 5 children engaged as child labor was getting paid. Moreover, these children were being forced to work in exploitative conditions and subjected to various forms of cruelty and violence. For instance, the team found a small boy, not more 10 to 11 years of age, working in a tea stall. It was clear that they had been beaten by the owner of the stall. When asked where his parents were and why he was working, the boy said he did not have any knowledge about his parents and that he was living with the owner of the stall ever since he had come to his senses. He treats me the way he likes, was the boy's candid comment. The team met another boy at another roadside tea stall, also of similar age and living in the same pathetic condition. How I wish I could go to school like all of you and live a normal life, he said when asked about his desires. One of the shocking facts discovered by the Peace Gong team was that educational institutions, canteens, employ a large number of child laborers. Isn't it an irony that so many children are working in the canteens of schools and colleges when they should have been studying in these institutions? Asked Asif Khan, a research scholar in the social work development of Aligarh Muslim University. The team also found poverty and lack of social security as the most important causes of child labor. Ayaz Ahmed, another research scholar, observed that deprived of education, the world of opportunities and rights are forever closed for these children, and that collective effort of the society is very important to ensure the end of child labor menace. We have to work hard to educate these children so that they become productive citizens of the country, he added. Elizabeth Lawrence, an American author, has said, "There is a garden in every childhood, an enchanted place where colors are brighter, the air softer, and the morning more fragrant than ever again." For the children that the Peace Gong team spoke to, there is no garden in their childhood. In the light of the reality check findings, the Peace Gong Aligarh Bureau plans to work with these children and initiate literacy programs so that they are exposed to some kind of education. Children make better ambassadors. Though children's rights are a new concept in Bhutan, the Himalayan kingdom fares better than others in this region and is actively raising awareness and understanding, says Pincho Chedin, South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC, country coordinator for Bhutan, in an interview to the Peace Gong. Question: can children help South Asia to face, address and overcome violence and choose peaceful dialogue? Answer: of course, in any kind of violence or disaster, children are the most vulnerable and therefore they most affected. Children are also the love of their parents. Naturally, no parent or adult would like to see their children suffer and be harmed. So, I strongly believe that everyone will be better inclined to listen to them, rather than to others saying the same on their behalf. Therefore, children can make the best ambassadors of peace and violence. Question: what role can children play in highlighting the urgency of ending violence against children and in developing an information sharing platform to raise awareness and commitment on the 5 key issues of South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC? Answer: children can play a critical role in this, since they are the ones who are affected and are at the center of all this. Children all over the world in general experience similar acts of violence against them. If they take up the role of voicing their problems, the adults will sit up to listen and eventually act. On our part, we must provide them with a platform to connect with each other, to share, to learn, to support, and to impress upon the adults and the governments of the fact that they are the potential citizens and leaders of the future. Investing in them will bring positive impact in every way. Question: What are the most serious issues of violence against children in your country? Answer. Bhutan comparatively fares far better in the region in this aspect. Nevertheless, there is evidence of our children facing small doses of different form of violence, be it child marriage, child labor, or corporal punishment. There is in existence various organizations, both government and non-government, working in the area of child protection. Question. What has been your effort to overcome such violence? Answer. The NCWC at the moment the only national machinery working towards the protection and promotion of children and women's rights. It has already conducted the mapping and assessment of the child protection system in Bhutan. It is currently in the process of conducting a nationwide study on violence against children. The findings and recommendations from these two studies will help us to plan and chart out the relevant and pertinent activities to combat violence against children. Question. People share initiatives that facilitate children raising their voice against violence in your country, which contributing towards peace and violence. Answer. Child rights and protection are fairly new concepts in Bhutan. The NCWC is carrying out numerous activities to raise awareness and understanding in the children, as well as in the general public on these themes. We are happy that within a few years we have been able to achieve a certain level of awareness and sensitization. Moreover, Bhutan, as signatory to the UNCRC, is obliged to fulfill the provisions of this convention. We have been submitting our periodic reports to the CRC committee and in the process have been proactive in our actions. A few initiatives worth mentioning are Child Care and Protection Act CCPA 2011, which calls for the formation of child welfare committees both at central and district levels. The amendment of related legislations. The mapping and assessment of the child protection system in Bhutan. The VAC study. Formation and existence of various youth and children forums such as Via and Dyson, etc. Question. Now that Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi have jointly got the Nobel Peace Prize, how do you think we can reinvigorate our efforts for a child-friendly South Asia, wherein all kinds of violence against children become history? Answer. Both Malala and Kailash are now South Asia's pride. So, South Asia must live up to the reputation and the honor bestowed upon them by working towards the full protection and promotion of children's rights. This region has to become completely exemplary to the whole world. Children make better ambassadors. A small step of freedom or a huge mistake. Team Surovi, the Peace Gong Bureau, Guwahati, Assam. To err is human. We all make mistakes, but who knows whether it will turn out to be a major or a minor one. Mistakes always come with penalties or costs. This is a story about a mistake that cost a 14-year-old girl her dreams, her education, and ultimately her freedom. Nilima, a student of class 8, lives, no, lived in Rajabari, Chapuri. Though thin as a stick and tiny, she was very fond of dancing. So, she sought permission from her widowed mother to learn the art. But the mother, who could barely arrange 2 square meals a day and the school expenses for Nilima, firmly said no. But Nilima's liking for dance grew. One fine day, in November 2014, instead of returning home after school, she decided to stay back at one of her friend's house to rehearse some dance steps, which they were planning to perform during a school event. Nilima had not informed her mother about her plan and had thought of calling her mother's mobile phone later. But her mother, unaware of the development, had gone over to her own mother nearby without her mobile phone. When it grew dark, Nilima rang her mother again and again, but there was no response. Meanwhile, Nilima's maternal uncles, whose homes were adjacent, became worried. As the hours went by, the entire family was desperately searching for Nilima, but they had no clue. That night, her mother and her maternal uncles searched all over the village, calling all their relatives to ask if she was with them. The next morning, Nilima's mother and one uncle met the coordinator of Surovi, who called up 4 more volunteers to help in the search. This group went over to each of Nilima's friends and finally managed to track her down at home of the friend where she had spent the night to learn a few dance steps. Naturally, Nilima's mother and uncle were very angry after getting to know what had actually happened. Surovi's coordinator followed them home and tried to pacify them. Initially, they seemed to have calmed down, but later we came to know that Nilima was not allowed to attend school for a week. She had also lost the freedom to go out with her friends. But what we didn't come to know at first was that family had fixed her marriage as a permanent punishment for staying one night away. Nilima's husband was much elder to her and had little education. His home was in a riverine area on the opposite of the mighty Brahmaputra river. Soon a sobbing teen bride departed with her husband. Sad, is not it? Here, we find ourselves in a position where we cannot blame anyone entirely for whatever happened. But why did her family members act so immediately, getting a 14-year-old girl married against her wish? Their answer is that Nilima should have known how to behave. Despite being poor, the family did support her to study. But she was interested in dance and didn't even care to inform that she was staying the night with her friend. This made them insecure, and they thought it was better to get her married rather than bring shame to their family. Who knows, someday she may flee with someone unknown, or she may fall victim to some predator who takes advantage of her behavior. If we look at the situation from Nilima's point of view, we see that her small mistake or ignorance about the future consequences brought her to a situation where she never wanted to be. In conclusion, we are left with a few questions. Is the penalty on Nilima imposed by the family justified? Shouldn't they have been a bit more forgiving? More importantly, shouldn't we blame the families more who support and encourage child marriages? Aren't they looking for a loophole to impose their ego on their own children? Friends, well-wishers, followers, and readers of the Peace Gong, please help us to find an appropriate solution to this dilemma. Child marriage rampant in South Asia. Sheikh Milad, Class 11th, Delhi Public School, Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. One English philosopher had famously said, if you want to examine a country, examine its youth. It is the youth which have the potential to change their country and bring about a revolution. Today, the children are being brought up well by their parents, giving them the best education possible. Unlike the past, children now enjoy very little restrictions in the family and know how to exercise their freedom of expression. While most of the parents apply the modern methods of upbringing, there are still quite a few who think otherwise. That's why every year there are 15 million children who are being forcefully married at a very young age by their guardians. This oppressive practice denies children their rights to education, health, and opportunity. Child marriage is one of the biggest problems faced by the South Asian societies. The marriage of minor children, mostly girls, by their phonetic parents is rampant in the tribal areas, where girls are forced to marry even at the age of just 8 or 9. These victims of child marriage, who just like anybody else have a million dreams to achieve, but unfortunately she is robbed of these dreams in her early age. This phenomenon, which affects the country's progress, also has a devastating effect on the child's life. First of all, neither physically nor emotionally she is ready to become a wife or a mother. Moreover, these girls are at far greater risk of suffering from dangerous complications in pregnancy and childbirth or becoming affected with HIV, AIDS, and from domestic violence. With less access to education and economic opportunities, they and their families are more likely to live in poverty. Child marriages in India are often dubbed with historical, traditional, and social reasons. In older times, child marriages were done in the name of protecting pre-puberty girls from rape and abduction by foreign rulers. The so-called social reason was to strengthen family relations and bonds, and to satisfy the whims of elder people who wanted to see their grandchildren getting married before they died. One of the worst excuses, unfortunately, is that in some villages, children are forced to marry because if the girl isn't married by a certain young age, the whole family is ostracized by the village. If we don't do anything to stop all this, our society is bound to face turmoil in the days to come. The best way is to empower and educate girls, offering them opportunities to gain skills that provide support networks. Creating safe spaces where girls can gather outside their homes does help the girls to assert their right to choose when they will marry. There are laws to curb child marriage, but laws alone won't help. There are innumerable instances where the legislation are not enforced, as many local authorities are reluctant to be seen as interfering in the private affairs of families. Many are simply unaware of the scale of child marriage and the harmful impact it can have. To prevent child marriage and preserve childhood, we must to ensure the spread of education, and various programs related to literacy. Religious leaders too can play a key role in speaking out against child marriage and changing attitudes. If we consistently work hard to educate society about child marriage through any means we can offer, then quite soon this menace will only be in our history books. Reality check. West Bengal. Shishu Panchayat acts against child marriage. Mala Khatun, Class 10th, Moldanga, Birbhum, West Bengal. Moldang, a village, is in Birbhum district of West Bengal. Just a few kilometers away from the world renowned cultural hub Sriniketan, this place is cursed by the demon of child marriage along with many other problems like poverty and lack of education. A reality check conducted by children of Moldanga Shishu Panchayat looked at the reasons of the growing number of child marriages in the village. Illiteracy was found to be the main reason. Due to lack of education, people are not aware of the legal age of marriage and the harmful consequences of child marriage. Poverty was another reason for the parents to give away their girls in marriage. The children are forced to get married by their families so that they can get rid of the burden of responsibilities as early as possible. Most of these families are debt ridden and haven't been left with many options. The team came across two incidents of child marriages in the village. One girl described how she was married off at a tender age, got separated from her husband within 15 days of marriage, and then was forced to remarry another minor boy from the same village, which didn't last either. The girl even attempted suicide but survived. Another incident was of a family with four sisters. One of these sisters was burnt to death for dowry. Another got married and became a mother at a very young age, and now she suffers from a disease. At a tender age, when she should be playing and studying, these children are imposed with the responsibility of the household and even babies. Their innocence is being snatched away. Child marriage is a social evil which causes domestic violence, health issues, lack of education, and sometimes even death. There is an utmost need to demolish this ill practice. Molranga Shishu Panchayat has resolved to work against child marriage by taking up major awareness programs that will educate people, especially the girls. Our team members have started teaching the women of village to read and write and teaching Bhattachari to the children of Moldanga. We should find a solution of the adverse effects of this social evil by creating more awareness. The society should fight this social monster and make the country a better place to live in. Translated from Bengali by a local coordinator. Bhim Prasad, interview. I learned that disability means extra problems. Question. What is your impression about the conference? Answer. It was fun. I found it very interesting consulting and interacting with children who came as delegates from different countries of South Asia. Question: has the experience made you see the rights of children with disabilities differently to what you understood or felt before? And will you now change your own work plan as a child representative of your country? Answer: I always thought as children we all face similar problems. But after hearing their experiences, I have realized that in addition to the problem we face as children, these children face extra problems because of their disabilities. Yes, I will definitely change my own work plan now that I got the chance to know about the issue and difficulties faced by children with disabilities in different fields. This conference gave me the opportunity to spend time with children with disabilities and know their problem and the difficulties that they face. Question: what can a child with disabilities do in life? Answer: everything. Everything that a child without disability can do. Question: what were the most important messages that you learned from the conference? Answer: first, all children, and that includes children with disabilities, need to be treated equally in all kinds of activities. Second, we, including the adults, must provide the platform for children with disabilities so that they participate in every field and have access to equal opportunities. Question: please share some of the issues faced by children with disability in your country. Answer: most important thing is that these children are not given the same opportunities as other children without disability get. What hurts me more is that they are often made fun of by their own friends and also by others. And some people take advantage of their disabilities and try to harm them. Question: what is your action plan after attending the conference in Sri Lanka? Answer: I will share my experience and the recommendations of the conference with all the children of my school in February after the winter vacation and on my Facebook page also, to make everyone more aware about the children with disabilities. Question: what more can be done? Answer: let us form a network of children across South Asia to take up the rights of the children with disabilities. Those who are marginalized and excluded in society, we must make these children members of this network and include them in all the programs. Question: name the important things that a CIVAC child observer or member should do. Answer: my top items are: provide a bigger platform for children with disabilities, spread awareness on kind of discrimination children with disabilities face and what we can do to help them, include children with disabilities in every consultation and give opportunities to raise their voice, make the school, parents, and also other children aware of what children with disabilities can do. Question: finally, would you like to join our Peace Gong team? Answer: of course I want to join and spread the message of Peace Gong in Bhutan. Kavya Makhija interview. Consult, share, and interact. Question: what was the impact of the Colombo consultation on you and your work plan as a child representative of India? Answer: the Colombo consultation was an eye opener for me. Earlier, I used to present my own experiences and difficulties faced in my everyday life. But now, along with my own viewpoints, I also put forth the experiences and difficulties of my friends. Question: what is your impression about the conference? Answer: the conference was a very memorable one with loads of experiences. It was a big thing. Consulting, sharing the experiences, and interacting with the child delegates from different countries of South Asia region, particularly with children having disabilities. I, rather every one of us were like one big group, and I think this worked as the big motivator in helping the children speak about their worries and their concerns about children with special needs in their own countries as well. Question: has the conference made you see the rights of children with disabilities differently to what you understood or felt before? Answer: earlier, I used to see the children with special needs differently. But after attending the children's consultation in Colombo, I have realized that all of us children have rights, just like the adults. Now it's like we can do this. Question: did this experience change your idea of what a child with disabilities can do in life? Answer: a child with special needs is valuable in him or herself. I have realized they can work wonders. They just need some additional resources or help, and then what they are capable of doing is just unimaginable. They just need a chance. Question: name the most important things a CIVAC child observer or member should do. Answer: my top 5 things are: 1. Be a leader. We should be leaders of the present. Only by becoming leaders will we be able to guide the other children towards the right path of the future. Second, be friendly. A friendly member is able to connect with all the children and understand them and their discussions. Third, encourage participation. It is not enough to encourage child's participation only during such consultations. They should be encouraged in all the activities of our society. Fourth, be creative. It is necessary for the members to be creative as their work involves in fields related to children. Children like creativity and easily get attracted to it. This will help them in establishing a rapport. Fifth, organize regular meetings. A CIVAC observer or member should organize regular consultations with children with special needs to get an update on the improvements and developments in their respective countries. Question: how can we make children's participation an inclusive process in community building and children with disabilities take social concerns? Answer: to ensure inclusive participation of children in community building, we should have regular consultations or gatherings, not necessarily one on a large scale all the time. There could be one in each and every city in which children present their views on what type of community they wish to build. Children with special needs opportunities like performing street plays that will raise awareness about the social concerns and contribute to the community building process as well. Question. Of late, there have been a number of cases of girls becoming victims of violence in their schools. What steps can we take to make our schools truly child friendly? How can we children contribute in this effort? Answer. Violence against girls has increased over the recent years. Violence is not only physical but also verbal, emotional, or mental. There should be a special training for the teachers, particularly in girls' schools. Also, important is knowing how to make friends with children with special needs. Schools can set up special groups of adults and children facing violence in the school would be able to report and receive help from the members of this group. Question. How to ensure protection of the rights of marginalized and excluded children in South Asia? Answer. By setting up a toll-free helpline run by the children of South Asia, assisted by adults whenever required. Good publicity about how this helpline works will help the people to come forward in aid of the marginalized and excluded children. Question. Would you like to join the Peace Gong team? Answer. Well, even if you hadn't asked me, I would have. Of course, I would like to be a part of the Peace Gong and write for it in the forthcoming editions. I would also like to request you to have a creative column for which the children can send their creative ideas. Children's Initiative. Redressing Water Woes. Bal Panchayat Team, Bapu Dham Colony, Chandigarh. An awareness campaign on the need of water conservation in their area. That's what the Bal Panchayat Children's Team of Bapu Dham Colony in Chandigarh has initiated. Inadequate water supply has made life miserable for a large number of children of the locality. Many a times they have to go to school without taking a bath. This unhygienic condition has been affecting their health and studies. The Bal Panchayat held on January 26th, the Republic Day this year, discussed the problems faced by the children of the colony. Access to quality education, increasing cases of eve teasing, menace of drugs, and access to adequate clean water were the main concerns expressed by the children. They felt that they themselves should take the initiative to respond to some of these problems. The children felt that lack of clean water supply in the area was becoming a serious problem, and they decided to launch an awareness program immediately. Now, they have started going from house to house explaining the importance of water conservation and the ways to prevent misuse of water. The Citizens of Tomorrow. Christina Khundrakpam, Class 11th, Kendriya Vidyalaya Number 1, Lamfelpat, Imphal. Take me to the path of light and not at the path of darkness. Impart me the knowledge, and I'll expose my potential. Mold me into a perfect child, and I will serve the world. For I am the citizen of tomorrow. Robert Henry, the noted American painter and teacher, has rightly said, feel the dignity of a child, do not feel superior to him, for you are not. Many of us dream of the day when we can change this chaotic world and feel the intense desire to rectify the present political and social system. These are the dreams and the wishes of an innocent child. But sadly, the child's mind is being constantly disturbed by the events happening all over the world. Terrorism is today's great challenge. Lots of children are being forcibly recruited by these terrorists. Among big problem is abduction of children who are then forced to beg. Human sympathy is used as a business by some heartless people who disfigure the abducted children so that they earn money by begging. Gangs kidnap children and make them beg. Who are these people using human sympathy as their profit making tool? Aren't they human too? And don't they have any sympathy for the children? Many more are forced to work as domestic help and in shops, roadside eateries, small factories, etc. All these children must have dreamt of becoming doctors, pilots, engineers, etc. But fate has taken them on a totally different path. There's a popular saying, children are the pillars of a nation. This is indeed true. A well-molded child will surely become a well-behaved man or woman and an asset for the nation. So, children need to be molded properly. The fate of a nation lies in the hands of its children, eagerly waiting for their responsive minds to start contributing as active citizens. That's where lies our responsibility of making the children a part of the nation building process. Right from the grassroots level, children should be taught how to behave as model citizens. This can begin by teaching them to behave well within and outside their families. Step by step, we can then march forward, creating a world where the children will be the model citizens. But if there is no one to take care of the children's hunger today, then tomorrow's world will be filled with hunger. If today's children are handicapped, then the tomorrow's world will be a world of handicapped because they are the citizens of tomorrow. The citizens of tomorrow. The citizens of tomorrow. Christina Khundrakpam, class 11th, Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1, Lamfelpat, Imphal. Take me to the path of light and not at the path of darkness. Impart me the knowledge and I'll expose my potential. Mold me into a perfect child and I will serve the world. For I am the citizen of tomorrow. Robert Henry, the noted American painter and teacher, has rightly said, feel the dignity of a child, do not feel superior to him, for you are not. Many of us dream of the day when we can change this chaotic world and feel the intense desire to rectify the present political and social system. These are the dreams and the wishes of an innocent child. But sadly, the child's mind is being constantly disturbed by the events happening all over the world. Terrorism is today's great challenge. Lots of children are being forcibly recruited by these terrorists. Among big problem is abduction of children who are then forced to beg. Human sympathy is used as a business by some heartless people who disfigure the abducted children so that they earn money by begging. Gangs kidnap children and make them beg. Who are these people using human sympathy as their profit making tool? Aren't they human too? And don't they have any sympathy for the children? Many more are forced to work as domestic help and in shops, roadside eateries, small factories, etc. All these children must have dreamt of becoming doctors, pilots, engineers, etc. But fate has taken them on a totally different path. There's a popular saying, children are the pillars of a nation. This is indeed true. A well-molded child will surely become a well-behaved man or woman and an asset for the nation. So, children need to be molded properly. The fate of a nation lies in the hands of its children, eagerly waiting for their responsive minds to start contributing as active citizens. That's where lies our responsibility of making the children a part of the nation building process. Right from the grassroots level, children should be taught how to behave as model citizens. This can begin by teaching them to behave well within and outside their families. Step by step, we can then march forward, creating a world where the children will be the model citizens. But if there is no one to take care of the children's hunger today, then tomorrow's world will be filled with hunger. If today's children are handicapped, then the tomorrow's world will be a world of handicapped because they are the citizens of tomorrow. The citizens of tomorrow. Group discussion. Children, active citizens. The Peace Gong Bureau, Kanpur. Seniors never take our views seriously. A common refrain of children found voice at the group discussion held to celebrate this year's Republic Day organized by the Peace Gong Bureau, Kanpur. Everyone agreed that children views need to be heard seriously to ensure their contribution in the democratic process. Without respecting their rights and by giving adequate opportunities to voice their concerns, issues of violence against children will always be difficult to address, they observed. Suchi Shukla, a class 10 student, said, we too have a right to express our ideas on improving our surroundings. But whenever she and her friends tried to discuss with their teachers about how, as a collective unit, they can help improve and develop their surroundings, the teachers dismissed them, saying, you are too small to think of contributing to community development. Children too have a right to be heard, said Simran Soni, a student of class 10. Are we not citizens of the country? So why can't we be consulted on how and what should be our education process? She asked. Carrying heavy bags in the school is a burden on the young shoulders. But the adults say only this type of education is right, she complained. Another important issue raised by Sony was that there are too much of pressure of exams coming one after the other, which makes it difficult to use our talents for creative work. Political parties use children during elections, said Abhay Sahu, a student of class 8, to shout slogans and carry the flags of political parties during rallies. But when it comes to hearing our problems, the seniors do not give respect to our rights, he pointed out. Group discussion. Children, active citizens. Empower children to raise their voice against violence. By behavior and awareness, children can become messengers to end violence, says Anand Prakash, South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC, Country Coordinator for India and Deputy Secretary in the Union Ministry of Women and Child Development in an in-depth interview with the Peace Gong. Question. Can children help South Asia to face, address, and overcome violence and choose peaceful dialogue? Answer. Yes, definitely. Children can play a very important and effective role in ending all forms of violence, not only against them in different settings, but violence against any person in society at large. Question. How can children contribute to expanding dialogue across the region for promoting a culture of peace and non-violence? Answer. Children are the citizens and leaders of the future. They should develop good moral habits, particularly patience and confidence in themselves, sympathy and a helpful attitude towards others, and always choose the path of dialogue and persuasion to stop violence against them. Question. How can children become messengers generating awareness of the importance of dialogue over use of force in settling differences and thus building the possibility of ending violence against all children? Answer. If despite all humility and persuasion, children are subjected to any type of violence, physical, emotional or sexual, at home, school or any other place, they should boldly speak out, seek the help of government, non-government organizations and peer groups. They should not come into conflict with the law. Thus, by their own behavior and awareness, children can become messengers to end violence against children, not only in South Asia but wherever they go. Question. In what way? Children can utilize their schools or any group of which they are part of as a platform to empower their friends and encourage them to spread the message. The National Action Coordination Group, NACG, is a network of organizations across the nation which has been working to end violence against children. They would be more than willing to support the children in their efforts. Question. What role can children play in highlighting the urgency of ending violence against children and in developing an information sharing platform to raise awareness and commitment on the five key issues of South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC? Answer: media, in all its forms, is a very effective mechanism to raise awareness among the maximum number of people. Here are some initiatives that children can think of undertaking. First, contact leading newspapers and request them to bring out news, features, and interviews on the subject and publicize the message that children want to send across. Get in touch with the local radio stations with the aim of having a discussion of the issue to sensitize the community. Request NACG to help establish networks with media houses, corporates, and social entrepreneurs to create impactful public service announcements on the subject. Contact storytellers to create child-friendly stories on the subject and request the schools to these messages in storytime activities. Use social media as a tool for advocacy against violence. Question: what are the most serious issues of violence against children in your country? Answer: in India, the Ministry of Women and Child Development conducted a study on child abuse in 2007. This study brought to light various forms of violence against children prevalent in our country, and the most serious were sexual abuse and corporal punishment or beating. Question: what have been your effort to overcome them? Answer: after that study in 2007, the Government of India has put in various laws, policies, and schemes to ensure that children are protected against all forms of violence, abuse, and exploitation. Some of these are Protection of Children from Sexual Offences, POSCO Act 2012, which addresses sexual assault, sexual harassment, and pornography. Integrated Child Protection Scheme, which aims to build a protective environment for children in difficult circumstances. Right to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, which prohibits corporal punishment in school settings, and Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2000, which was amended in 2006. This law is like an umbrella for children in need of care and protection, and for children in conflict with law. This law is now being changed again to keep with the changing needs of our society. We are constantly striving to ensure that children are protected from all forms of violence, and that is the reason why we regularly sensitize and build up the capacities of the authorities and communities both on their duties and responsibilities. For this, we have our national and states commissions for protection of child rights, NCPCR and SCPCRs, to protect, promote, and monitor child rights across our country. Question: please share initiatives which facilitate children raising their voice against violence in your country, which contribute towards peace and non-violence. Answer: to curb sexual offences against children, The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 has created awareness amongst the community that such offences are also a kind of violence against children. Our government has also issued guidelines to stop corporal punishments in school. Question. Now that Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi have jointly got the Nobel Peace Prize, how do you think we can reinvigorate our efforts for a child-friendly South Asia in which all kinds of violence against children become history? Answer. It was indeed a moment of celebration when Kailash Satyarthi was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. It will be an inspiration to all of us to stand against violence against children in all settings. Media in any form is a very strong and tested platform to bring about change. The efforts of children can be strengthened by using this tool effectively to empower them, sensitize adults, and thereby ensure that violence against children does become history. Moina Parijat, Building a Children's Paradise. Rosaline Farnaz Hussain, Class 10, Sankar Devi Sishu Niketan, Tezpur, Assam. In search of light pervading the dark, we wonder what's on the other side. Moina Parijat literally means children's paradise. Just like paradise, Moina Parijat is a pure evergreen entity, an organization founded by Mahadev Sharma and Nalini Baladevi that leads young children from darkness to paths of bright shining light and teaches them to tie the strings of unity. Two wonderful people, Mahadev Sharma, who had been conducting the All Assam Children's Meet, Skodou, Oxom, Pradekshik, Moina Male, and Nalini Baladevi, who nurturing Parijat Kanan since 1950, decided to work together. On 27 June 1954 was born the All Assam Moina Parijat. From then on, the year 1950 is celebrated as the birth year and June 27 as the foundation day of Moina Parijat. The first children's convention was held on January 17 to 19, 1975. The open session of this convention was presided over by a Moina of Dibrugarh district, Minakshi Chaliha. Founder Mahadev Sharma used to preside over the convention every year, right from the years of its inception till the day he passed away on 7 September 1958. In this present age of technology, children have almost given up physical activities and games. In the midst of an almost mechanical life, Moina Parijat encourages children to discover the pleasure of playing in the open, explore a world of their dreams, and find light in the midst of darkness. Moina Parijat helps in the children's physical, mental, and intellectual growth by giving them a platform to explore and inhibit their talents through activities and competitions. For an all-round development, activities include physical exercise, competitions, fun and games, quiz, debates, exhibitions, etc. Chittaranjan Datta, Tezpur District Unit Secretary, says Moina Parijat is for strong character building and not just for institutional education. Every child is special in his or her own way and has many unique qualities. Moina Parijat gives them a platform to develop these very qualities. It strengthens the children physically and mentally in order to facilitate them towards becoming responsible citizens of the future, as well as developing themselves as brilliant personalities. Moina Parijat harnesses the power of mental bonding of the children of the region to unite. The organization develops their skills and talents through fun activities and games. The aim is to help them mold their future through strong social, moral, and cultural roots. Overall, the organization focuses on developing universal bonds with children globally through their activities and to play a participatory role in creating values amongst the children as they grow up in society. State convention this year in Dibrugarh. Moina Parijat conventions were earlier held locally and then gradually at the district level and then finally at the state level. The open sessions held during the conventions are conducted by the Moinas, the children themselves. Discussions on wide-ranging topics from education to development of the society give these children the confidence to participate in conversations that ultimately lead to important changes in their lives as well as of the society. Children gathering from different provinces of Assam get a chance to meet new friends and exchange their thoughts and ideas with each other. This way, they get to build their confidence level as well as their sense of independence. The state level conventions are held every 2 years. Tezpur session was held in 2013 and Dibrugarh will hold the next session this year. This way, the children of Moina Parijat not only get the opportunity to travel across the state, but also the chance to learn new things about the history and culture of these places, leaving them with rich experiences that last a lifetime. Jafrin Farnaz Hussain of Tezpur district is one such beneficiary who grew up under Moina Parijat's guidance. Moina Parijat develops each child to be a true human being because only a true human being can advance and find the light at the end of a dark tunnel, says Hussain. Like Hussain, there are countless children and adults who wish the foundation of Moina Parijat laid by Mahadev Sharma and Nalili Bal Devi to remain strong and tall and let more and more true children of the soil be born here. Long live Moina Parijat, in search of the light we go. Peshawar. Together we stand. Ramshina, Class 12, Farooq College, Calicut. Peace Gong team strongly condemn the barbaric and gutlessness terror attack of 16 December last year, throttled to the death of 148 school students in Peshawar, Pakistan. There have been periods of history in which episodes of horrific violence occurred, But this brutal attack on the innocent children is one of the most haunting, inhumane acts. It is for us children to stretch our hands forward, regardless of nation, religion, caste, and creed, to the affected families. We believe that the world does not suffer because of bad people or bad actions. It suffers due to the silence of the good people. Tragic incidents against child victims show no sign of decline. As concerned citizens, let us all take a pledge of making an earnest effort to support nonviolence. Hand that rocks the cradle, the shadow of God, the future of nation. A child shapes the destiny of civilization. Such is the irony that children, the beautiful creations of God, continue to be the victims of unending violence. One of the gravest concerns facing humanity today. We deplore this and stand beside the families of children killed and injured in this craven act. Peshawar. You are everywhere. Saida Rumana Mehdi, Coordinator, the Peace Gong. Your blood is on my hands. Your blood is on my clothes. Your blood is on my face. Your blood is on the bullet. You are everywhere. On the Taliban hit list, on the bloody pages of history, in my dreams, in the beads of my rosary, on my chapped, dry lips, as I feverishly call out your name. They say you are no longer here. They are wrong. Your blood is here. Your bones are here. Your bloody uniform is here. Your shattered dreams are here. Your shroud is here, ready to be wrapped around your fragile body, ridden with bullets. You'll always be here in the walls of schools, resurrected in the laughter of children, studying in classrooms, in the ink of the pen used to educate, in the voices of revolutionists, in our memories, in our prayers. You are not lost. We have lost you. Groping in the dark, drowning in ignorance, crying in vain, digging tiny graves, looking up at the bloody sky with 141 clouds drifting, looking down at the bloody ground with 141 bodies lying, staring at us, asking us what they were guilty of. But right now, you are very much present in the coffin I carry on my shoulders. Let the earth take you in. Let your marble tombstone shine in the moonlight. But right now, you are very much present in the wind that blows away the rose petals from your grave. You are everywhere. Saida Rumana Mehed. Media Literacy Training. Lead. Media, a mirror on the wall. SciVac program trains the Peace Gong young reporters. Kanupriya Gupta, Class 10, Carmel Convent School, BHEL, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. A large number of conflicts and ill feelings in the world are a result of miscommunication. Many are the results of media frenzy and misrepresentation of facts. There are others which are fueled by media violence and the zeal of our media channels to score over others. Media today is all pervasive. It has entered into our bedrooms and there is no escape from it. In such a scenario, developing a greater understanding and insight into how the media functions is extremely important for we young people. We children realize that we have to hold our pen high and ideals higher to end the turmoil of non-violence that makes this world a better place. Our aspiration should be to dispel the fantasies from the minds of children so that they know how to separate fact from fiction. Developing communication skills will make us learn how to use media. This knowledge will enable us to make media take up our causes and concerns against different forms of violence against children. It will make us develop ourselves as advocates. Article 13 of the Convention of the Rights of the Child says, "The child shall have the right to freedom of expression. This right shall include freedom to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas of all kinds, regardless of frontiers, either orally, in writing, or in print, in the form of art, or through any other media of the child's choice." It is in context that the Peace Gong Bureau throughout India, in association with the South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC, facilitated our training in media literacy and communication. This training will enable the Peace Gong team members and other new members to understand the nuances of the media and how we can respond to issues related to violence against children. The training programs came out with interesting recommendations from our team members. These included how training in different forms of communications will help us in making bridges of friendship with friends across India and abroad and initiate effective dialogues on issues like our health, education, child labor, etc. Kofi Annan, former UN Secretary General, in his Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech in 2011, said, "We have entered the third millennium through a gate of fire. New threats make no distinction between races, nations, or regions. A new insecurity has entered every mind, regardless of wealth or status. In the early beginnings of the 21st century, a century already violently disabused of any hopes that progress towards global peace and prosperity is inevitable. This new reality can no longer be ignored. It must be confronted. Peace must be made real and tangible in the daily existence of every individual in need. People must be sought above all because it is the condition for every member of the human family to live a life of dignity and security. To ensure peace and non-violence and motivate young people like us to be committed to non-violent actions, communication and media literacy training are important. It will enable us to initiate dialogues and use our skills to advocate for peace and resolve conflicts amicably and promote mutual respect. Martin Luther King Jr. has rightly said, "Our life begins to end the day we become silent about the things which matter. So, let us step forth to end passivity with a pen, paper, and our thoughts to uphold the reality. Bridging the Gulf in South Asia, impacting on peace and nonviolence. Twin perspectives on media training. Two young journalists of the Peace Gong share their thoughts and experience. Saida Rumana Mehdi, former associate editor and now coordinator, and Ramshina, editor, the Peace Gong Calicut Bureau, Kerala. Saida Rumana Mehdi. I believe that media is the most important weapon we have today. It is a double edged sword, and if used in the right way, it can move mountains. Media has always played a poignant role in inspiring the youth to stand up against violence. The Arab Spring is an apt example in which a major revolution was triggered through Facebook and Twitter alone. Today's generation is much more sensitive. The more the exposure, the more they are forced to think and react. So, young people who acquire communication and media literacy skills are in a position to use these dexterously and contribute to the culture of peace and nonviolence in a greater way. Media literate students can understand conflicts and their underlying causes better. When students read articles, research, and are able to skillfully use different forms of communication, they discover a whole new range of ideas and experiences. It is mind boggling to see that even today, in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, and many other countries, there are women who are abused and children are forced into slavery and child labor. The problems are all the same, but the children and young people who know more and understand these issues critically are more likely to figure out the root cause behind these problems. There are many ways in which the young reporter can contribute to promoting dialogue among young people from diverse communities and cultures. By developing capacities to use different forms of media, especially the new media, we connect with other youth in different parts of the world and initiate a dialogue. For instance, many Peace Gong feature articles by young people from different countries have common themes, which build up the way to a dialogue. I read these articles and say, oh well, India faces the same problem as us, so why not sit down together and sort it out? The Peace Gong serves as a bridge to link countries and ideas together. It allows us to think and respect others' point of view and then use them to solve problems. As Peace Gong reporters, we can and do contribute to building a culture of peace and intercultural dialogue. I have had Skype sessions with the former Peace Gong editor Iflah Javed Qureshi, and we realized that there is no pressing conflict. It's just stubbornness from both sides. I have received a couple of emails from other reporters regarding my poetry, and it is so nice. I also had the honor of co-writing an article with another former editor, Spandana Bhattacharya, from the International Clearing House on Children, Youth and Media. In the article, we explored a delved on how deeper understanding of media and communication can help young people like us develop capacities to initiate dialogue in the community and contribute to peace. We had emphasized in our article possibly a global effort aimed at introducing media education programs for peace and conflict resolution can contribute to a culture of peace and nonviolence. There is a need to develop a curriculum on media literacy. The first thing that I would include is the fact that all points of view, beliefs, and ideas of all people should be respected and given equal consideration. Also, in order to eliminate differences, it is important to understand them first. Peace Gong takes the light of eminent Gandhian from India, Natwar Thakkar, on the importance of emotional bridge building in all forms of communication. This, I strongly feel, should be the fulcrum of media education for students at global level. Our training in media should help us understand and appreciate all cultures and civilizations. For instance, our training should motivate us to celebrate together Eid, Diwali, and Christmas, as all these signify sacredness and peace. Ramshina, Class 12, Farooq College Higher Secondary School. Editor, The Peace Gong, Calicut, Kerala. The Peace Gong is a media literacy program to bring in a culture of peace and nonviolence. We are all volunteers and we get training in media literacy by experienced media people. Our objective is to bring peace to an otherwise violent world in many regions. We were taught how Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King used media to bring peace and promote nonviolence. In Kerala, we promote youth festivals and sporty events. We have been holding Asia's largest school youth festival in Kerala for many years. But do the children of the state have a common media platform? I feel media literacy in our state is not taken at all seriously. My experience as the editor of the Peace Gong Calicut Bureau has brought a sense of deep awareness which makes me so compassionate. My media experience has made me become a better and active citizen and more peaceful at heart. Like me, if all students go through such a positive media literacy program with a stress on volunteerism, we surely can bring peace and non-violence to a much troubled world. Yes, media literate students can understand conflicts and their underlying causes better, but it depends on what sort of training they get in media literacy. My media literacy training taught me the values of peace and non-violence. and we all got to know how great volunteering is. We now know the seriousness of the issues in the world, and through our Shishu Panchayat, Children's Forum, try to seek solutions. Students who are positive media literate can understand conflicts and underlying causes as they are taught to read between and behind lines as well as to think about the possible solutions. There are a number of ways in which young reporters can contribute to promoting dialogues among young people for diverse communities and cultures. Young reporters should meet people. They should leave the comfort of their schools and homes. Our Peace Gong group went to Chennai to attend a conference on Millennium Development Goals. Then they conducted a similar conference in Wayanad, Kerala, and also did extensive surveys among the general public, institutions, and civic organizations. This was then reported in the Peace Gong. Here, my friends became new creators first and then became reporters too. So, young people can contribute to social change by becoming catalysts in the society they live in. We know from our experiences that this is possible. As a Peace Gong reporter, I have gained many values which I hope have given me the ability to contribute to a culture of peace and intercultural dialogue. First of all, I have started to think seriously about the problems of the world and how to make it more peaceful. Also, I realized the value of volunteering. Earlier, I wanted to be a leader, the best in whatever I do, better than others. Now I am trying to make everyone better than me, and that thinking is making me feel good. Along with my National Social Service NSS friends, I even participated in constructing a house for a poor student. The Peace Gong has taught me the greatest quality in my life, volunteering. It also made me a journalist, a strong person, but compassionate and empathetic. So, the key objectives and orientation that I would like to have in media literacy curriculum are the following. Make sure that young reporters have more active role in the organization than mere reporting. They should also be active volunteers working in the community. Include teachings of peace and non-violence in the curriculum. Media literate students should have a greater focus in life rather than simply trying to get a job. Ensure that values are shared and the learning atmosphere should have opportunities for students to develop their inborn worth. Students should leave the four walls of their classrooms and learn about life from the ordinary people. The voice of marginalized should be heard in the media literacy sessions and they should be included as resource persons. Try to get all schools in our area to start a newspaper like our own, the Peace Gong. Bridging the Gulf in South Asia. Impact Peace Gong Media Literacy Program. Workshop report from the States. Kerala. Hosted by the Peace Gong Kerala, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore Foundation, Words, and AFRC India, with support from SciVac. The workshop was attended by 45 participants, 29 first year students from MMIT Technical School, 17 students from Communications Department of AFRC, and 2 plus 2 students from the local Malabar and cooperative colleges respectively. Inaugurated by Block Panchayat President P.K. Anil Kumar. The workshop was presided over by K. Prakashan, Municipal Councillor of Kalpetta. The speakers shared views on the democratizing effect of media and the need to keep away from the sensationalism in news. Leila Sain gave details of the Peace Gong and its objectives. She spoke about the association with South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC, and its thematic areas of work. Recommendations: more frequent communication and media training needed for students of the Wayanad district. A proper strategy needed on how to involve children from different schools as a collective unit to make an impact at policy level and in the administration. Training is how to effectively use the digital media. For example, mobile phones in common use now can help young people use such technology more proactively. Involve more resource persons from various fields to make such events more persuasive and worthwhile, as more media exposure is immensely useful to the younger generation. Conclusion: such events are fruitful for every individual of society, irrespective of age, sex, position, status, etc. So, active participation of more people will increase media awareness and bring positive changes in the society. Leader of the Year 2014: Gauri Krishna, 13, student of SKMJ High School, who is also the Bureau Chief of the Peace Gong Wayanad chapter, was awarded the Leader of the Year 2014 prize. The chief guest of the event, P.K. Anil Kumar, gave the prestigious award to Gauri for her contributions in upholding the rights of children and in bringing together the children to have a collective voice on issues of concerns to the young people. Gauri writes regularly letters to the Peace Gong and to school authorities on various social issues affecting the rights of children. She had also sent an audio message which was later broadcasted in a German radio show and later presented to the President of Germany, Joachim Gauck. Session 1: Reporting and News Presentation. Using practical examples, slides, and role model, Anil Imeg, Director AFRC, instructed the participants how to gather information from different sources in the field and put together an effective news story. He discussed on how to develop questions for an interview. Through simulation exercises, students were asked to conduct interviews amongst themselves on issues such as child labor. Session 2: Role of Media in Molding a Collective Social Behavior. M.B. Nishant, reporter Mathur Bhumi, underlined how through better understanding of media and using a platform like the Peace Gong, the young people can work collectively for the community and nation as a whole. Session 3: Media Exercises. The students did news presentation exercises, reporting, and editing sessions under the guidance of Leila Sain, M.V. Nishant, and Anil Imeg. Takeaways: Voices from the workshop. M.V. Nishant, the reporter of Mathura Bhumi Media Organization, said, The Peace Gong is a model which should be introduced in every school and media institutions. Reading from his presentation on the role of media in molding a collective social behavior, Nishant said, media need to be connected to grassroots reality. The land and people should be pictured in a realistic manner in the media, both print and visual. The mad race for sensationalism was affecting the credibility of the media. Therefore, value based life enhancing quality media work is the need of the hour. P.K. Anil Kumar, Block Panchayat President, mentioned that media should focus on reality, not sensationalism. The media gives unwanted importance to superfluous happenings in the society. The media needs better direction and monitoring. K. Prakashan, Municipal Councillor, was happy to have joined this media initiative of the Peace Gong. He said that the media has a vital role in bringing people closer and plays a crucial role in spreading communal harmony and national empowerment. I would like to help expand the Peace Gong in different schools of the municipality, he promised. Gauri Krishna, Bureau Chief, the Peace Gong Vayanar, said, the Peace Gong has made me aware about the rights of children. I wish all schools include the Peace Gong and media literacy in the classrooms. Involving children like us in media initiatives will help develop our social sense and also help us to filter reality from sensationalism. Two students of AFRC India, Aslam Kesi and Ansila PA, said that they were glad to be a part of such a prestigious institution which has helped them to learn about media and communication. The initiative taken by the Peace Gong is really commendable, as in the present scenario, we rarely find people getting involved in such activities, Aslam noted, while Ansala pointed out that media has becoming polluted, thereby losing its own dignity. Both opened that such ideas and action would help the media to stand as the fourth pillar of democracy in its true sense. The speakers welcomed such initiatives that are bringing change in the society and also helping the new generation to stay involved. Jinsi, student representing AFRC, pointed out that practical media training helps students to get an insight in the way journalists work. We found the training very useful in our lives. Also, the exposure to different forms of violence against children, like child trafficking, made us reflect more deeply as citizens and what we should do. Sujit, student representing AFRC, said, students with media literacy training get to realize the way media works and also become more interested in engaging with media activities. Assam. The Tezpur chapter of the Peace Gong organized the workshop on December 20, 2014. 16 boys and girls of class 7th to 12th from Tezpur Gurukul, Shankar Dev Shishu Vidya Niketan, Government Girls Higher Secondary School, DK High School, Don Bosco High School, St. Joseph's Convent School, Darang College, LPJ College, and Tezpur College attended the workshop held at Tezpur Exomia Balika Mojolia Vidyalaya. Co-hosts were Birds, GRTF, Surovi, and Sadhu Asom Moina Parijat, which support from South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC. The participants were briefed about the objective of the workshop and the thematic areas of SIVAC. Mr. Rehan Ali, founder coordinator, Surovi Shishu Panchayat, made a presentation on the Peace Gong and how it was connecting children from different regions. Recommendations: more workshops wanted for further learning, need more time to learn and develop writing skills, develop the Peace Gong wallpaper in Assamese, training methodology should have fun exercises and games, not merely lectures. The first session was conducted by Prathamesh Borkotoki, editor of the online variety magazine Fried Eye, who familiarized the children on the different types of writings and gave them some idea about how to identify story ideas and how to develop a story. He gave them a topic, Tezpur Festival, and asked them to write whatever they could about it. The children could not come up with much at first, but after a little more probing from him, two of them came up with points to cover while researching from information on the topic. The second session was conducted by Rehan Ali, who recounted his own experiences of starting Surovi, a platform to promote child participation, and how they have been working for the society. He talked about the importance of participation in the development of the society and about the role that they as children could play in the growth and betterment of the society. Ali narrated stories and cited examples of the ways young people have contributed to changing the society by being the change themselves. He explained the issues of child marriage in the region and problems faced by children with disabilities in Chaporis, riverine islands in the Brahmaputra. Participants were told about how the Peace Gong was trying to take up the thematic areas of South Asian initiative to end violence against children and how children were doing reality check exercises on these issues. The post-lunch session was conducted jointly by Muktikam Hazarika, Research Assistant, Department of Sociology, Tezpur University, and Tinam Borah, Program Associate, Green Hub, Northeast Network. Muktikam taught the children about different types of news and how to differentiate between them as well as to identify newsworthy information. His session also included an exercise in which children were asked to draw a picture of a princess exactly the way he described her. Though he gave specific instructions, the children ended up drawing the princess as per their conceived ideas of how a princess should be. The resource person then explained to them how information can be twisted and modified when published or telecast in the media. Tinam's session was about the structure of a news story, its different elements and characteristics. She also explained to them about how to prepare for and conduct an interview. A mock interview was conducted by two of the participants about this session. Takeaways: Voices from the workshop. Ankita Sarma, Class 8th, St. Joseph's Convent, said that it was an amazing and interesting day for her, and she was very happy to have joined the program, which gave her lessons about understanding of the media and how to write for it. Learning how to collective information and conducting interviews is very important, she said. Ankita Kalita, class 10th, Government Girls Higher Secondary School, said that she learned many new things like violence against children, rights, concerns of missing children, child participation, etc. She got to know about the inverted pyramid style of writing and how to write news and features. She felt more exposure was needed for conducting reality checks. Biraj Kakati, class 11th, LPJ College, said that he had learnt many new and interesting things. He came to know how children like him should use the media to write issues of concerns of children. He said he and his team would like to do reality check on the problems of child labor in Tezpur. Deepjyoti Bora, class 7, DK High School, found the task of drawing the princes very interesting, as it gave him ideas of how to develop one's story. The discussion on issues of child marriage, child labor, and missing children gave him new insights on concerns of children like him. Dolly Chaudhary, class 8th, Government Girls Higher Secondary School, was happy that she got the chance to learn about writing news story. The session with resource persons prompting participants to reflect on new ideas was significant. She had also learned to look at news more critically and absorb the different dimensions of concerns like child trafficking. She wanted to be an active member of the Peace Gong team and raise her voice against exploitation of children. Garima Bora, class 10, St. Joseph's Convent, said it was important to learn how to conduct reality checks and interviews, how to communicate with the people, and use her communication skills to raise child rights issues. She also learnt about the problems of child labor, child trafficking, etc. Manipur, our voice. Let's give media literacy training to one and all, especially the school teachers, the molder and the maker, the spectator of children's future. Two separate workshops were held, one at Mehiral Sindam Sangh Khurai, Lamlong, on November 8, 2014, which had 54 participants, two Bachelor of Arts senior from DM College, and the remaining 52 school students of class 8th to 12th. The host school had 39 participants and 9 more schools had sent their students for the workshop. 3 from Kha Impal High School, 2 each from Akash Institute of Arts and Science, Hauba Marak Girls School, and 1 each from Sikha Higher Secondary School, Akash Higher Secondary School, Kendriya Vidyalaya Lamphel, Elite Higher Secondary School, HRD Academy, and Heritage Convent. The second workshop held in Ebotonsana Girls Higher Secondary School, Uripuk, Impal, on December 3, 2014, had 79 participants. 2 seniors from DM College, 3rd semester B Command, 5th semester BSc, and 77 school students of class 9th to 12th. There were 71 students of the host school, 2 from Akash Higher Secondary School, and 1 each from HRD Academy, Elite School, Kendriya Vidyalaya Lamphel, and Kwaithel Boys High School. The Peace Gong Manipur chapter organized both workshops in coordination with GRTF, BIRDS, Surovi Shishu Panchayat, and Kasturba Gandhi Institute for Development (KGID), with support from South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children (SIVAC). Christina Kundurakupam, Associate Editor of the Peace Gong and a student of Kendriya Vidyalaya Lamphel, gave good support at both the events. Speaking about the Peace Gong Media Literacy Training Program at Mahiral Sindam Sangh Khurai, she pointed out the impact of media in today's life and the ways it can bring about a peaceful world, and how the workshop will help students understand the harm violence causes while developing their communicative skills to promote peace and non-violence. An interesting game of Chinese whispers was played at both the workshops. Participants learned about how misreporting of news happens when it is from an unverified source. We can get different types of news which are actually deviations from fact, they were told. Sometimes such deviations lead to unwanted violence like community riot. From this session, the students came to realize the importance of proper and effective listening and clearing their doubts before making news out of the information received. One session at Lamlong venue had the children sharing their views on issues of child trafficking, child labor, and cases of increased violence against children across the state and the Northeast. Sarita Devi from KGID and advisor the Peace Gong stressed on the importance of collective work to address these challenges. A partnership between people from different generations is needed, she said. Through slides and practical examples, she showed how children can discover information and use them in developing their communication skills. The participants, asked to construct messages against violence on children, came up with their own slogans on issues like child trafficking. Finale was a song Suno Suno E Duniya Walo Bapu Ki Ye Amar Kahani from the Peace Gong team. At Urepok, Hemanta Kumar, editor of the daily Yuan Lenpao, conducted a session on effective communication and media literacy. He expressed that effective communication and media literacy is just like the two faces of a coin. It goes parallel to each other. In other session, Professor Ganesh Sethi, head of Mass Communication Department, Manipur University, instructed the participants about what news is and how to create it using a simple but effective formula: the 5 W's and 1 H. The 5 W's of news are what, where, when, who, and why, and H stands for how. What shows the aim, where gives the location and site, when fixes the time and date, who indicates target people, why explains the purpose, and how details methodology. This formula, said Professor Sethi, is the bedrock of every news item article and communicates the true sense in a very effective way. The students were given a brief exercise to learn hands on how reporters gather factual information from the field and develop their news stories. The media literacy program was showed how to extend ideas through knowledge and skill development and to bring out and spread the message of peace and non-violence. Seeing the children's platform on the Peace Gong and Navakhol newspaper, the teachers got excited and wanted to know about more about children's participation in developing the newspaper. This positive response showed that media literacy training program among various sections of people, especially school teachers, is necessary. The active participation of school teacher would make their students become involved, develop their talent, and participate more in promoting peace and nonviolence. A fallout of this program was that Manipur University too organized a session with the college teachers within their refresher course, Teachers Training Program, sponsored by the University Grants Commission on the topic How we organized media literacy program of the children in collaboration with SciVac. Takeaways. Voices from the workshop. Attending the Lamlong workshop, I, Manoj, of class 12th, Akash Institute of Arts and Science, said the Peace Gong is a good way to promote non-violent communications amongst children as it is the need of the hour. We have to respect each other. Only then we address the issues of violence. Another voice here was of Lanlima Devi, class 10, student of Mahirul Sindham Sangh, Khorai, who said, "We all know about the concerns of child trafficking, but workshop made us reflect on the gravity of the situation. We children should come together on the Peace Gong platform to have one voice against violence of any kind of any children." At the Europok workshop, O. Ronibala Chanu of class 12, Ebotonsana Girls School, said, "I could never imagine that I could reach out to so many people just by being non-violent in my communications. Training in non-violent communications should be made compulsory for school students." Ning Boykim Kipgen of class 11 from the host school said, "Teaching us how to collect information and then write the news was inspiring. I aspire to be a Peace Gong reporter and hope to write on issues of concern in my community." Lihing Ne Hoi Tout Hang, a class 12 student of the same school, said, "I will be happy to work with students of other schools of Manipur in the Peace Gong team and take up the issue of violence against children." Geeta Rani Devi, head of physics department, Iboton Sana Girls, said, "The pen is mightier than the sword. The students should use their writing as a tool to erase ill effects in the society." S. Khodgrendro Singh, teacher in Kha High School, said, "Get rid of ignorance, do not waste time in idleness. Join the Peace Gong team and take up the causes of the society by collaborating with other children across the length and breadth of the country." Recommendations. Europok workshop. Regular sessions on communication and media training in different schools of Manipur as a part of the Peace Gong initiative. Poster making classes on various new topics by the Peace Gong. Lam Long workshop. More structured sessions on non-violent communications as part of the Peace Gong media literacy program. Workshops on health related issues. More quiz and debates on environment and violence against children. More awareness programs on violence against women and the girl child. Madhya Pradesh. The Bhopal chapter of the Peace Gong organized the workshop on December 12, 2014 at Anand Vihar School, Bhopal, in coordination with BIRDS, GRTF, Arushi, with support from South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC. For the 21 participants students of class 10 from Anand Vihar School, Bhopal, there were two local resource persons, journalists Rajesh Gaba, Dainik Bhaskar, and Khushbu Joshi, Hindustan Times. Kanupriya Gupta, editor of the Peace Gong wallpaper, told the participants about the workshop objectives and the thematic areas of the SIVAC. They were told about how the Peace Gong was bringing together children across South Asia to write on common concerns. The efforts of NGO Arushi for people with disabilities were discussed and how the NGO Arushi was partnering to bring out the Peace Gong talking paper to ensure involvement of children with disability in the team. The first session on importance of developing communication skills was held by Khushbu Joshi, Hindustan Times correspondent, was about the missing children in Madhya Pradesh and how newspapers carried news stories on the issue. She then introduced the participants on how news was constructed, the difference between hard and soft news, and shared their experiences of reporting. Then she delineated difference between news, features, editorials, advertisements, and op-ed page articles. Their students were given examples of different writing style in the newspaper and told to write small news items from given information. In second session, Rajesh Gaba of Dainik Bhaskar narrated his experiences and the way it feels to work as a reporter. He explained about the different beats in which reporters worked and discussed how reporters cultivate contacts and develop sources to write news stories and features. Research and interviews are important to become a good reporter, he pointed out. Through simulation exercises, students were told how to conduct interviews and the salient features of good interviews. The third session saw the launching of the Peace Gong on disability. Kanupriya Gupta gave moving examples of how children with visual impairment could become part of the Peace Gong team. The students were motivated to not only write for the Peace Gong but also how they could lend their voice in the talking paper. Neha Vaishnav, Class 10 student of Anand Vihar School, Bhopal. The workshop helped me realize how to start my own media project and take up the causes of children like me. Better understanding of the media and communication skills are important in today's world to take up social concerns. I will like to be a part of the Peace Gong team and take part in different causes with other students. We can further the rights of children through platforms like the Peace Gong. We children can play an important role in fighting issues like child marriage. As a new member of the Peace Gong team, I would like to work with NGO Arushi for the rights of children with disabilities. Shubhangi Gupta, Class 10. My first exposure to media and communication training, where I learned how to collect information and interview people. Workshops like this uplift our thoughts and inspire us to do something positive for the society. I had never thought on the issues of missing children and those with disability before. We children should get together and work out on how we can bring changes in the lives of these children. Gokul Rana, Class 10. I am interested in writing but never got a platform to put it to some use. Now I am aware of the Peace Gong and would love to write for a cause. I would also like to record books for the visually impaired through Arushi. Chandra Pratap Singh, Class 10. The workshop taught me about the different concerns of my friends in the society. Media training is very important for all children to ensure a collective voice of children. Shivam Chaturvedi, Class 10. Khushbu Joshi made my day today by telling us how to write for newspapers and appreciating my writing on the exercise I was given during the workshop. I gained so much knowledge about media and facts that I never thought of. I loved it. Recommendations: needed more focused training on reality check, expanding this training program to other schools and institutions, tie up with the state education department to make the Peace Gong reach the government schools, develop vernacular editions, more practical training sessions needed to be effective communicators. West Bengal. The Kolkata chapter of the Peace Gong organized the workshop on December 3, 2014, hosted by the Journalism and Mass Communication Department of Jyotish Ray College, Bijoygarh, Kolkata. Schools from all over the state sent 52 participants of children of class 8th to 12th. They were from Path Bhavan, West Barisha Kamala Vidya Mandir, Jadhavpur, Bijoygarh, Shisha Niketan, Sukhranjan Vidya Mandir, and Binuria NB High School. Welcoming the participating schools, Dr. Arnav Banerjee, Head of Journalism and Mass Communication Department, expressed the importance of media literacy in schools teaching mass communication. After an inaugural Rabindra Sangeet by Pritha Banerjee, first year student of journalism and mass communication, Dr. Banerjee introduced Chief Guest Dr. Indrani Raha, Head, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication of Murlidhar Girls College. In this workshop, we will treat you like journalists rather than as students, said Dr. Raha. The workshop had 4 activity sessions conducted by special guest Bappaditya Paul, senior reporter of the Statesman, Kolkata, and Dr. Biblob Loha Chaudhary, Professor Center for Journalism and Mass Communication, CJMC, Visva Bharati, Shantiniketan. The session with Bappaditya Paul was on one of the basic skills of reporting, listening. He told a news story followed by an interactive session with participants on questions related to the news. In the second session, the participants were introduced to the 5 major thematic thrust areas of SciVac. child labor, child marriage, corporal punishment, child trafficking, and sexual harassment. Participants were divided into 5 groups, and each group got one topic to work on it. The selected group had to go out of the college campus and collect primary data and information related to their respective topic within an hour. The third session saw presentation by participants of the information collected on their respective topics. Resource persons Professor Nilay Ray, Professor Soumik Chatterjee, Shanta Chaudhary, Supriyo Hazra, and Bappaditya Paul enriched the participants' knowledge about these issues by describing them in detail. The fourth and the last session had resource person Kapil Kumar Bhattacharya, research scholar TJMC Vishwabharati, introduced the concept of Shishu Panchayat Children's Forum developed by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore Foundation GRTF. He encouraged the participants to form Shishu Panchayats in their localities. The workshop ended with the students getting certificates of participation from the resource persons. It was the first media literacy program for school children in Kolkata and received positive feedback from all the participants as the program was able to ring the journalistic bell in the minds of these children. Jharkhand. There was much excitement when the Jharkhand chapter of the Peace Gong announced holding of the media literacy program training at Bharat Sevashram Sangh, located in Indraprasth Colony, Joda Talab, Bariatu, Ranchi. On February 14, 2015, the Jharkhand coordinator of the Peace Gong, Sujay Sarkar, conducted the event along with colleague Tej Lal Bhagat. Preparations started early and the students' organizer were very curious about the display material. The coordinator explained that the photos on the flex sheets are called IEC, Information, Education, Communication Material, and we will discuss this during our session. The students were asked to observe them critically and he would be asking what all they perceived from the material. All the student participants volunteered to put the display material on the wall, one in front, just over the blackboard, and the rest on the 3 sides. The first banner had a yellow base on which it was written in red, "The Peace Gong Initiative on Violence Against Children. Dialogue between children, coordinators, volunteers and stakeholders." And the Peace Gong Jharkhand, GRTF, BIRDS, MF and SIVAC. The remaining 3 banners were on Bal Vivah, child marriage, Bal Mazdoori, child labor, and on Bal Shiksha, education for children. Each display had as many as 19 photographs related to the topics on it. At the center was an image of a peacock and above it was written "The Peace Gong" and underneath "The Peace Gong Jharkhand Bureau." The workshop started with Sujoy sir introducing himself with his colleague Tej Lal sir. Thereafter he took out his pen and asked, "What is this?" All students replied, "Pen." He smiled and said, "Correct. But now I will do a magic." "Now it is what?" The students were all blank. Sujoy sir laughed and said, "Now this is a mic." He then asked, "The mic required for what?" Different answers came from the students. On stage, by politicians, by singers, etc. Sir said, "What you are saying is correct, but you all are missing something." The students looked puzzled. Then he replied that it is also used by reporters. Realization dawned on the students. Using the pen as the mic, the coordinator told the students more about the Peace Gong, the name that was printed on the flex banner and its objective. Then asked all the students to sit in U formation and one by one introduce themselves, name, school, class, and ambition in life. Mr. Sujoy Sarkar said, "This how reporters start when interviewing for news stories. This is the beginning, and we will all work together to enhance our power of observation, analysis, and questioning," he said. The students were enjoying the workshop. Everyone will clap to appreciate whoever speaks well, and this is to encourage each other, he instructed. After the introductory session was over, he revealed the secret why he had made the students act like reporters. The Peace Gong is an international children's newspaper published from India, which connects children from the north, east, west, and south of the country, and also from abroad. The students clapped when told that from today we all are part of it and we all are reporters of this newspaper. Next, a brain-teasing session was held to develop the students' observation and analytical powers. The participants were asked to use these powers as reporters and bring up issues affecting the locality and society. Each student was given one topic from the three subjects: child marriage, a boon or bane and why; child labor, a boon or bane and why; education, a life building measure. The students spoke one by one on any one topic of their choice and tried to give their own explanation. There was much clapping to encourage each other and to learn to move together ahead in life. The third session was group activity where the students formed groups of three. Chart papers were distributed to each group with a set of crayons, pen, and pencil. Then the group had to choose one of the three topics already given. After deciding, the group was asked to collectively perform, draw, write slogans, etc. The students were also asked to write about themselves and the problems faced on the back of the chart paper. After an hour, the students went back to sit in U formation, keeping their chart papers in the front. The best chart on each topic got a prize. Ram Munda was declared as the Jharkhand Bureau Chief for speaking well and giving a short speech on all three topics. Earlier, the coordinator had asked, "Who amongst you can write well?" Ram volunteered and was asked me to document the proceedings. Anil Oraon, Bagra Munda, Bandhana Oraon, and Inder Pahan were awarded for speaking well too. Books on Swami Vivekananda were the prizes and would be the subject of discussion in the next session, which would also be on how to read a newspaper in a group and develop vocabulary power. Compiled by Ram Munda, Bureau Chief, The Peace Gong, Jharkhand. The Peace Gong Media Literacy Program. Workshop report from the state. Dialogue amongst children is the key. South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SIVAC, is the platform to share good practices amongst South Asia nations, says Dr. Muhammad Aminul Islam, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Women and Children Affairs, Government of Bangladesh. Question: can children help South Asia to face address and overcome violence and choose peaceful dialogue? Answer. Children of South Asia have been facing a lot of violence over the years. They have to face violence both in and outside their homes, so they are able to address violence, but the scope is very limited. Education is the key factor to empower a child. An educated, empowered child can raise her voice against violence. Question. How can children contribute to expanding the dialogue across the region to promote a culture of peace and nonviolence? Answer. Dialogue amongst children of South Asia can create a space and allow them to raise their voices against violence. Also, children can create a culture of peace and non-violent environment in this region. And Malala Yousafzai is one of the significant examples from this region. Each country has a few good practices on reducing violence against children, and SciVac is the platform for South Asian children to share their good practices among countries to make everyone aware about preventing violence against children. Question. What role can children play in highlighting the urgency of ending violence against children and in developing an information sharing platform to raise awareness and commitment on the five key issues of South Asia Initiative to End Violence Against Children, SciVac? Answer. A regional summit for children can create a platform through SciVac and perform as an information hub that would help to access violence against children. Thereby, a plan could be developed to raise awareness on the five thematic areas of SciVac. Question. What are the most serious issues of violence against children in your country? Answer. In Bangladesh, child marriage most critical issue of violence against children. To overcome the issue, the government is going to amend the existing law and is creating awareness among the stakeholders. Question. What has been your effort to overcome such violence? Please share the initiatives that facilitate children raising their voice against non-violence in your country, which contribute towards peace and non-violence. Answer. Breaking the Silence, BTS, has introduced the window method, which is more focused on preventive measures of child abuse. These methods have empowered children on how they can address physical, mental, and sexual abuse. It teaches them how to prevent all types of violence, focusing on body boundary. It also focuses on life skills of children, and by these life skills, they can share their feelings with parents, and through a systematic approach, they can prevent violence. Question. Now that Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi have jointly got the Nobel Peace Prize, how do you think we can reinvigorate our efforts for a child-friendly South Asia wherein all kinds of violence against children become history? Answer. Nobel Peace Prize winning of Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi will encourage child activists and children volunteers. Their initiatives can be replicated in other countries of South Asia. The two Nobel Prize winners should travel across South Asia and encourage both children and adults to prevent violence against children, like child sexual abuse and exploitation, child marriage, corporal punishment, child labor, trafficking, etc. Year that Kashmir lost and what it taught. Sheikh Milad, Class 11th, Delhi Public High School, Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. It is the first time since decades that Kashmir has entered a new year without leaving the last one behind. The common feeling that usually comes while entering a new year is just not there, which can be seen amidst the traces of last year in every house, street, or corner. September 2014, Kashmir encountered something what no one could have predicted. The massive floods which inundated almost the whole of the valley. That was the talking point for all the residents as to what last year was all about. Needing an in depth perspective on the floods, I visited a village to meet the victims and saw the havoc and tragedies everywhere. On a warm and sunny early October morning, 70-year-old Fatima Begum was grieving silently amidst the rubble of what used to be her three-storied house in the village of Ari Gatnu, district Kulgam. This is one of the worst affected villages in Kashmir, not far from Srinagar, the capital. She has lived here all her life, and so have her three sons, who weave carpets to make a modest living for their families. The floods that ravaged Kashmir from about a month, the worst in more than a century here, razed her house to the ground. We lost everything in this house, Fatima Begum says, wiping away tears. We don't know where to live now, she said, looking around uncertainly. The winter was around the corner then, and everyone was apprehensive of how to survive the harsh weather. This story of 70-year-old flood victim is enough for the readers to understand the hardcore misery suffered by the people of so-called paradise on earth. Fatima Begum stands as an example here, but there are more, many more such victims in the valley. Though not an economist, this writer managed to collect a few details that converted the terror brought by the flood. More than 559 bridges, 4,350 miles of roads, and hundreds of irrigation canals were heavily affected. In Srinagar alone, 91,000 houses were damaged. Jammu and Kashmir's Chief Secretary Muhammad Iqbal Khandei told the media recently that a preliminary assessment suggests that the floods have cost the state US $16.3 billion. Without harping too much on the trauma, I think the time has arrived to think out of the box, to take something out of it, to take something positive, because our only way to survive is to be positive. Year 2014 is regarded by many intellectuals of Kashmir as the lost year, but I beg to differ. What happens if we change this stance of the year that was lost to the year that taught? Yes, the year did teach us something, didn't it? As I said earlier, we have to look on the positive side of this painful affair and see where we stood then and where we stand now. Everyone has her own story, her own loss, and most importantly, her own motivation. I was myself a victim of these floods. We lost our house, suffered big losses to our business. But despite that, I have something else to tell you about the floods that ruined us. Remember the maxim? What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. The ones who managed to live despite all the odds against them have actually grown out to be more stronger than ever. So this is my motivation. I survived. The only way left is the hard way now. We have to take our small pieces that were thrown on the ground and build ourselves once more to reinvent ourselves into something better, humbler, and stronger. Year that Kashmir faith an anchor in life. Saria Rashid, Class 8, Chinar Public School, Zavura, Jammu and Kashmir. Those memories are still fresh in my mind. Getting up in the middle of the night, watching my toys floating out. A great flow of water that sucked all the ink on my books and just left them blank. One can't even write new verbs on them. Destruction all around. Roads spaced with huge mounds of debris. Heart-rending stories were being told. The flood was merciless to everyone. I remember the date, September 14. That was the day when even the elite were searching for shelter amidst the future in their neighbor. None was spared by this disaster. Those who didn't face it directly were worried about their kin. The tragedy was evenly distributed to all in handsome amounts. Everyone was trying to escape from the floodwaters. We too tried to get somewhere safe. Some of our relatives had reached points of safety. My relatives made every possible effort to comfort us, but we were completely immersed in our thoughts. We have lost our home. Every possession of ours might be washed away by the waters. It took a lifetime to collect these savings, but now we are left with nothing behind, ran my thoughts. Ah, crazy thoughts they be, my inner voice chanted. If God takes a bit from everyone, He has planned something huge in replacement. My mother suddenly started whispering these words. Perhaps her senses started working in the right direction as she started chanting her prayers every now and then. Good news followed. Floods had affected our place the least. Moreover, all the family members and relatives were safe. Materialistic possession hardly matters. It is the family which matters. Hope is immortal and materialistic wealth is available in abundance. Have faith and live a life full of life. Faith, an anchor in life. Home underwater for 20 days. Aminah Bashir, Class 6, Muslim Public High School, Rajbagh, Jammu and Kashmir. I remember the day when the gushing waters came towards our colony. Horrified, we watched as the flood fury started engulfing our house. Our father was outside the main gate. He came running when he saw the water entering our home. Thanks to Almighty, we had all the essentials, rice, water, clothes, etc. kept on the first floor. In no time, the ground floor was underwater. Mother told us to go to our maternal uncle's home. First, we didn't agree, but then had to do what she said. Mom called her brother and asked him to take us with him safely. He came and we went with him in a boat to a safer area. We saw the entire colony was drowned in water. From the boat, we got into our uncle's car, kept at a safe distance on higher ground. We reached our maternal uncle's home, but worried about Mama and Papa, we were at home alone. It took 20 days for the water to come out of our house. During those days, not only the government but even the common people helped a lot by providing essentials and rescuing people. Many lives were lost, as were homes and livestock in this flood. A scenario of the recent floods. Flood slashed Kashmir on September 7, 2014. It created various problems by destroying everything on its way. My family was inside our house when the waters rose. My uncle took me and my two sisters to his hotel, which was safer than our house. But my mom and dad were at home. This was disturbing me all the time while we were in the hotel. We stayed in the hotel for 4 days without food and water. Then some local residents came with food and water. We and others in need thanked them for the help. After some time, another uncle of ours came to the hotel and went to our aunt's place with him. I was there for 15 days. I could come home only after the water level went down. Nargis Jameel, Class 5th, TPS Government High School, Sonwar, Jammu and Kashmir. Water everywhere. September 7, 2014. I will remember that day all my life. Meteorologists had predicted that there will be floods in Kashmir, and so it happened. The waters reached our door much before we had thought it would. People got restless and worried about this dangerous flood. I heard my family members crying, "Come out, please." Within 15 minutes, the water level rose to 12 feet, and then it was increasing with every passing minute. We shifted our household items to the upper story of our house. Our neighbors were standing outside their houses. When Jhelum crossed all the danger level, people started crying and screaming. But still, there were many helping each other in saving lives and good. I haven't seen or even imagined such floods. We went to our uncle's house, but there too the floods reached. So we were on the road, trying to reach some safer places. But wherever we could see, there was water. Next, we went to a relative's place at Pulwama and stayed there for 9 days. Finally, the water level became less and we came back home. For days, we cleaned the place and started living our life again. At least we are trying to make life normal with a damaged house, destroyed clothes, and every other useful material. Mehek Rashid, Class 6, Muslim Public High School, Rajbagh, Jammu and Kashmir. In a blink of the eye. The first week of September, it was raining cats and dogs. September 7 seemed as if it was the doomsday. The place where I lived was covered by the waters of River Jhelum. Though floods are common here, but who knew that this flood will be such a disaster? No one was prepared for it. On September 5, Mom stopped me from going to school as a red alert was declared. I could see everyone in the surrounding houses shifting their stuff from the ground floor to the first floor. But my family was not doing anything. My sister was too scared to let us do anything. My maternal uncle asked me to come to his home to help shift their stuff. When I came back home, Mom sent me to my maternal aunt's place at Rainavari. When we reached the bridge, I hugged my father and left that place with my father's friend. From Mehjur Bridge, no cars were allowed to go further. So we crossed the bridge on foot. There was no electricity and no network, which made the situation even worse. Those days seemed similar to those of how man lived during the early ages. After 20 days, my paternal aunt could reach us and took us to her home at Harwan, which was safe from flood. The worst feeling was that I had no idea how my family was. Neither did my parents know about their daughter's well being. But as soon as the water level decreased, we all came back home by boat, bus, and on foot. When I entered our house, I couldn't believe it was the same house where I lived. Mom told us how they had lived in such circumstances. I couldn't control my tears. It was sad to hear about my maternal home where my sister and I had kept our books. My books were saved, but not my sister's. We had no drinking water, but our neighbors helped us by providing milk as they had cows. Now, slowly and steadily, we are recovering. Jannat Shah, Class 7, Oak Hill Institute of Education, Pachai Bagh, Jammu and Kashmir. Reactions of children who witnessed the flood. Question: how and when did you come to know that there will be flood in valley? Answer: we came to know about it 2 days before the flood reached our doors. But we had no idea it will be this much dangerous. Class 8 student Basit. Question: what preventive measures were taken by you and your family when red alert was declared? Answer: we did nothing. Although we got warning of the flood, but we took it casually. No one could even imagine that it will be such a disastrous one, and the valley will be drowned in no time. Class 7th, student Omer Shah. Question: when the water started entering your colony and then the houses, what was the immediate step you took? Answer: my mom and dad shifted our stuff to the upper story from the down floor. When the situation seemed to be getting worse, we left our items on the ground floor and went to upper floor waiting for help. Class 2 student Zuba Shabir. Question: how did you manage to escape from your house to a safer place? Answer: we were on upper floor of our house the entire night when the flood water came and filled our ground floor. There was no way to escape. In the morning, boats came to our rescue. Only then were we able to come out of that place and moved to a safer area. Class 12 student Munisa Latif. Question: how difficult was it to leave your house in such a condition and live at some unknown place? Even more difficult was to leave our parents at home in such dangerous conditions. I was sent to my parental uncle's house as that was in a safer zone. But my parents didn't agree to leave our house and decided to stay there only. This was the worst feeling a child and parents can ever have. Omer. Question: who helped you in this difficult situation to come out of it? Answer: locals helped the most. We all helped each other. People from safer places came forward to rescue people in difficulty. Many lost their lives while saving others. Zuha. Question: when were you able to go back to your home? Answer: there was no way to contact our parents at home. There was no electricity, mobile connectivity, nothing. We were in a depressing state. We didn't know how our loved ones were. It was only after the water level decreased we were able to know about our family's well-being. Basit. Question: how much this flood affected your life? Answer: it almost destroyed our normal life. Our houses, school, books, everything got ruined. It will take time to get back to our normal life, but we will be back for sure. Munisa. Now, when months have passed, have the floods escaped from your memory? Answer: no, not at all. Besides the immediate problems, floods have had a long lasting effect on our lives. Some visible now, and others we may come to know with time. But we know well how to rise again. We are not losers who will quit. We will never stop trying. But we know well how to rise again. We are not losers who will quit. We will never stop trying. Omer. Question: what we, a society in general, should do to tackle such problems? Answer: we should take warnings seriously and take actions as prescribed by experts. Basit. We should have a better government system who can handle such situations well, causing less harm to society. Munisa. We must help each other at times of need, without thinking of ourselves only. United we stand, and divided we fall. Omer. Published by Professor T. K. Thomas, Chairperson, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore Foundation. For any suggestions and inputs, please write to the editor, thepeacegong@gmail.com. Please visit our website, thepeacegong.org. You can also join us on Facebook. Our page is The Peace Gong.